I was feeling a little burned out at work. And I had gone through a stretch where a lot of people were calling and asking, they were telling me their stories in the hopes that it would go into the newspaper. But I could tell after I heard them out that although their stories were personally meaningful to them, they might not have enough interest for enough readers. But I felt bad telling them that. You know, they just poured their guts out to me, and now I had to tell them I couldn't use their story. But a funny thing happened. Instead of getting upset, most of the time they said, "Oh, that's okay. It just feels so good to be listened to. Thank you for listening to me." And I thought, you know, I need one day, just one day, where I get to sit and listen to strangers and listen to them with no responsibility to judge anything at all that they say. So one day, I hauled 2 chairs from my house into Clark Park, which is a gorgeous park in West Philadelphia, where they were having an arts festival. And I plopped down the chairs, and I put a sign on an easel. And this is what it said: "I will listen." I did this. "I will listen with compassion, without judgment, and with an open heart." So is there something you need to say? Tell me. I will listen. Well, people sat down all day long. They would sit down and say, "You know, I'm just going to stay for a few minutes." And they stayed much longer. And they talked, and I listened. And then because it felt right, I talked and they listened. And our conversations were awesome. We talked about losing our way in youth, in a job or a bad relationship, and then the thrill of finding ourselves again. We talked about knowing in our gut when it's time to make a change, but being too afraid to do it or being so happy to do it, or how we did it badly. We talked about pride, the kind that saves us and the kind that gets us in trouble. We talked about frustration, kindness, faith. That day in Clark Park reminded me that we are all dying to be heard and known. And we can be, and we will be, when we're just deliberate about having conversations and creating moments where we make people, and all of ourselves actually, feel welcomed to be heard and known.